Well, hello and welcome back. My name is Lynette Yearberry. In this YouTube podcast, I am going to review the course schedule. The course schedule we're going to observe is an online course schedule for summer 2014. There are things that are consistent on course schedules from course to course and from modality to online and on site. So, not to worry if it's not online summer 14 for you. The first thing I'd like to say about course schedules is you should print one and keep it where you can look at it to watch due dates. It's very helpful to keep you from getting behind. And the second thing I would say is be sure and have a copy loaded to your computer because there are many links on this. Media links are provided on this document for review purposes. You must watch them on My Accounting Lab to get credit for them. But if for some reason your browser and My Accounting Lab aren't getting along someday, or you'd like to review one, they're all listed on the course schedule as a matter of convenience as well. This particular course schedule row pertains to prior to the start of class, and since you're watching this video, you've got a good handle on that already. About the only thing we need from this row is to note that there are 30 work days shown on this course schedule. And in a summer online class, there are only 50 calendar days in the semester, and you're free to put those days however they fit in your schedule. In an on-site class, I will put a date in the date column, and that tells you what you should have ready for class by class time on that date. Let's move down to the first row. Each one of these rows on day one represents an amount of material I think that you can accomplish in a day. So we're on day one, and notice for all course schedules, there's a due date under that. On an on-site schedule, it would have a class date, and it would be understood that you would have everything in the read and watch column done by the beginning of class, not on that day, but by class time. For an online course, I don't put days on it. I let you pick when you would like to work. And you realize you have 30 work days out of 50 calendar days, so you're moving pretty quick. You can move at your own pace to whatever degree you'd like, but the first chapter is due on 6/18. In an online course for the summer, the chapters are all due on one day. In an on-site course for the regular school year, there's a couple of due days a week, so a little difference there, but due dates still shown in that area. In the read and watch column, this is what you would first do when approaching new material. Read pages 2 to 12. These are the section heading names on those pages. Once you've read those, you would watch this media. You would watch it on My Accounting Lab, but these links are live, and if you press Control and the mouse key, they do fire off a link. We're not going to watch that, but I'll show you that they are live. Once you have read this material and watched this media, you would then go to the end of the chapter and see exercise 120. You would open up My Accounting Lab, and you could solve exercise 120. What you would see at the end of the chapter and what you would see on My Accounting Lab may or may not be the same problems, numbers. They're the same problems, but some of your homework is algorithmic, meaning the numbers change. Some of it is exactly the same as what is at the end of the book. Either way, E120 at the end of the chapter and E120 on My Accounting Lab are similar problems. So now you would open up My Accounting Lab and solve E120. I recommend that in every chapter you solve some problems by hand at the end of the chapter and then solve them on My Accounting Lab because the final is by hand, and it would be nice if you had some experience solving things without drop-down text box. In an on-site course, it would tell you in this follow column what we would be covering in class that day. On an online course, it gives you hints, and all of the hints are useful to tells you things that I would be telling you in class. This is on the final, this isn't on the final. You can skip this, don't skip this. On the first day, I've chosen to give you the accounting lab hours and tell you you can go there and get help and get tutoring. And you can read them, so I won't repeat them. But don't wait to get tutoring till you have several chapters you're confused by. If you're confused by a chapter, get tutoring help on it before you take the test on that chapter. On day 2, since it's summer semester online, it's all due on the same day. This is due on 6/18. You would read these pages, which covers these sections. You would watch this media on My Accounting Lab and come back here and watch it again if you were so inclined, and then complete these problems on My Accounting Lab. All homework except for one chapter is submitted on My Accounting Lab. You'll notice on day 2 I say work on learning what goes on each financial statement. I don't say that lightly. I say that because you have problems remembering what goes on each financial statement. So I emphasize that in class. Day 3 is a practice day where I want you to practice chapter 1, and the homework that relates to that is E21. And it says in the hints, this link right here will help you solve the homework problem. E21 often gives students grief, and so I have a link that actually helps you solve a version of that problem. You wouldn't know that that link was there on My Accounting Lab. You'd have to be following the course schedule to catch that. And if you didn't and you missed it and asked me how do I do that, I would reference you to the course schedule. It also says consider working 3 additional exercises from the end of the chapter. I would do those by hand just for practice. You can see the answers to those on My Accounting Lab in the My Study Plan section. Day 4, more of the same. Now we're on chapter 2. All of chapter 2 for online is due on 6/21 in the summer. During the school year, there are a couple days a week it's due. This is the related homework. This is the hints. There's the media that goes to it. And so you progress throughout the chapter. Day 4 covers chapter 2, day 5, chapter 2, day 6, chapter 2. There's some ratios, there's some homework problems. Notice just before the test it says complete the study plan on My Accounting Labs for chapters 1 and 2. If time's a factor, just select the areas you are weak. The study plan on My Accounting Lab works behind the scenes, kind of like artificial intelligence. It's watching what you do, and it's spotting your weaknesses. Scary notion, isn't it? And it builds a study plan for you based on what it thinks you need to study before you take that test. And if you're having trouble with that material and the test is coming up, that is the time to go to the accounting lab and seek a tutor. Don't wait until the test is a disaster, and then there's another one that's a disaster as well. Seek help immediately. Each chapter in the first 4 chapters of accounting builds on the prior chapters, and so you need to be good at them in order to move on. Notice you have day 8 and day 9, some review material. I'm stopping on, a little soon here, let's keep going, chapter 4. I'm stopping on this page, which is day 12, that's due on July 1st, because I want to show you the only problem you complete during the semester that you complete by hand. The problem can be found in the textbook on page 264. It's problem 437B, and you will use these work papers to complete the problem. These work papers are coming at you. Some course documents on My Accounting Lab. It's in the chapter in the book. The problem, I guess, not the work papers. Work papers can be accessed right here, and I'll probably also email them to you, so you have several ways to get them. This one problem is completed by hand. It reviews chapters 1 through 4, and it lets you know if you're on track or not. By the time you hit this problem, you should be able to do chapters 1 through 4 with an 80 to 85% accuracy without looking in the book. If not, it's immediately time to seek tutoring. And the way you submit that problem is explained on those work papers. The test for that, those 2 chapters, 3 and 4, is July 2nd. Notice you can spin ahead and see the whole semester at a glance on the course schedule. You'll notice most tests this semester are on Sunday and Tuesday. I try to get a theme going depending on the semester where I have homework and tests on the same day. So you'll notice on your course schedule what that might be for your semester and your modality, whether online or on site. Because I know we're creatures of habit, and that helps you to not forget. Chapter 5 and 6 cover inventory. There are things to read, there are things to watch, there are things to do. And so progresses the semester. I'm going to roll down now and show you. You can see when all tests are due and lay the semester out. Don't get overwhelmed. We move on to Chapter 9, and hints coming at you all the time on what's on final and extra practice problems. Then we skip, after you finish Chapter 9, we skip Chapter 10, and it's taking me a minute to get there. We go right to Chapter 11. Chapter 10 is part of Accounting 1120. So the course schedule will help you not read a chapter you don't need. So as you can see, it's going to be very useful for you. Also on the course schedule, at the end of the semester, you can get a final study guide, open it, and complete the final study guide. I suggest you complete everything on that by hand and then enter the information into my accounting lab, because there's a final study guide problem with no points assigned to it, and check your answers. That way you get practice working by hand and you get to see the answers. One day to review for the final, and then the final exam. For online students this semester, it's August 6th through August 8th, and I'll be picking that up Monday morning. August 8th is a Friday, it closes at 10. They're not open on Saturday and Sunday. I'll be picking those finals up early on Monday morning and grading them as quick as I can for you. I made the course schedule, not because I'm a control freak, but because really the only hard thing about passing this class and having a successful experience is getting the pace you're traveling through the material at right. You cannot cram in this course. You can't do all the homework for a chapter on Saturday and take tests on Sunday and have a successful experience. 90% of students can't do that. I don't know why it has to be that way. I just know that it is that way. And so your best bet's to take bite-sized pieces, and each one of these days represents a bite-sized piece. So whether you're on-site or online, you have a course scheduled with dates, due dates, material, homework problems, and suggestions. And if you're online, what we're going to do in class that day. I heartily recommend you use this schedule to your benefit. And it's your path on how you get from day one to the final exam with the least amount of angst. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really look forward to working with you. We'll be talking again soon.